Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I haven't did a talk through video in quite a while, so I have a little bit of time and my house is actually quiet right now, so I decided to come on camera and do a little talk through with a makeup look that I'm doing today. So I've already done my brows off camera, and I do have my brow routine video in my description box. So if you want to see how I do my brows as of late, I do have that linked in my description box. And I am using the P. Louise base in Rumor 2. And I'm just going to take a little bit and add it to the back of my hand. And this is also the P. Louise brush that comes in that set that she has. And I'm just going to apply that all over my lids. I love that this P. Louise base it makes your shadows pop, and they are very pigmented when you use it. So that's what I love about it. And I'm actually using a new palette from a indie brand that I have never used before, so just in case the shadows aren't pigmented, I want to make sure that I have a good reliable base. Okay, so I'm going in with the E28 brush from Morphe. And this is the palette that I will be using today. It is by Islay Cosmetics. I believe I found them on Instagram. They are indie and black owned, and this is their palette. Very cute summer shades. So I'm going to go in with this first shade called Arm Candy, this bright coral shade, and I'm just going to add that in my crease. Okay, so now that that's applied, I'm just going to blend it a little bit on the outer portion. So now that that shade is all applied, I'm going to go in with my MAC 224 brush, my favorite blending brush. And I'm going to go in with this chocolate brown shade called I Dare You. I'm going to add that in my transition area, right below the last shade that I added. Now this chocolate brown shade, it has a little bit of kick up in the pan, but that's not much of an issue. Even most expensive palettes have kick up, but I just wanted you to be aware of that. I'm going to go back in with that first brush, and then I'm just going to blend so that there's no harsh line. So now that that's all blended out, I'm going to deepen up the eye look and use this black shade called LBD. And I'm just going to add that to the outer portion of the eye. Just to add a little bit of dimension. This black isn't too pigmented, which is good because you can build it up just in case, you know, you go overboard with the black. So I have a little bit of the P. Louise base left on my hand, so I'm just going to go back in and kind of carve out my lid. I'm going to go back in with the black just to blend out the outer portion. With a flat shader brush, and I'm going to add this pink shade called Bubbly. And before I wet my brush, I'm going to see how it does on its own. So I'm just really digging into the pan. I love supporting Black-owned brands. And this is a very nice palette. I'm going to just wet my brush just so that it can shimmer a little bit more. And I just use some MAC Fix Plus. And just making sure both eyes are even. I'm just going to line my lash line with my Fenty Fly Liner. So I applied my lashes off camera, and these are in the style, these are by Pretty Girl Lashes, and they are in the style Strong. And I will link her Instagram handle down in my description box. For face, I'm going to be using Fenty Beauty products. So I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty Primer. And I am using the foundation by Fenty Beauty as well, and I am in the shade 380. Now the Sephora associate, she matched me with, she said I was between 410 and 420. And actually I think that those shades were a little too red for me. I matched myself with 380. Now I do think I should be 385 because in the summer I can be matched with 390. So I do have 380 and 390. 390 would be my summer shade. So since I'm still a little light, I haven't gotten tanned yet, I'm going to be using 380. So I wet that sponge with some cool water. And I'm just going to conceal go with my Fenty concealer, also in 380. To contour my nose with my Fenty matte stick in the shade Truffle. And I'm also going to set my under eye with my Fenty Beauty setting powder in the shade Honey. And I'm just going to blend out my under eye just to make sure that there's no creasing. And with this powder, you have to go in a very, very light. So you don't need much powder. I'm just going to lightly tap and then tap off the excess. Look at how smooth and airbrushed that under eye looks. Now you can set your whole face with it, but I like to set my foundation with my Sephora Micro Smooth powder. I'm just going in with that with a big fluffy brush. Set that contour on my nose. I'm going to extremely lightly go in with this Prime Beauty bronzer in the shade Bronzeville. This is highly pigmented, so I'm just going to use a tiny bit. In with that Islay Cosmetics palette, and I'm just going to finish up the rest of my eyes. And I'm going to use that first orange shade that I used here, which is called Arm Candy, and I'm going to add that to my lower lash line. Just for a pop of shimmer to my inner corner, I'm going to use this first shade in the palette, this champagne color, and it's called Riches. Just going to add that to my inner tear ducts. I'm going to use my Fenty Beauty Killawatt in Penny For You Thoughts. And I'm going to use that as a blush. And this is how it looks. So I'm just going to add that with my blush brush. Going to use my Fenty Beauty bronzer in the shade Caramel Cutie. Now, the Sephora associate and I both agreed that Caramel Naughty was way too red for me, actually. So, and also Mocha Mami would be definitely even too dark for me. So we were able to build up Caramel Cutie, so I decided to go with that shade. I want to see if I'm still feeling it. So I think it adds a nice bronzing effect. You can build it up. So I have set the rest of my face with my MAC Fix Plus. And I'm just going to line my lips with the Crayon Case lip liner in the shade Bear. And since this is a full face of Fenty products, I will be using a Fenty lipstick as well. And I'm going to use the shade Uncuffed, which is a pinky nude. Forgot to highlight, so I'm going to be using another one of Fenty's new products, and it is the Killawatt Duo in the shade Mo Honey and Afternoon Snack. So it looks like Mo Honey is more of on the champagne side, which is more darker. So to be safe, I'm going to use that shade. And I'm just going to take a little bit with my highlighter brush, tap off the excess. That is really pretty. I'm just going to add that to the other side. So now I have a full face of Fenty products. So with the new Fenty products that I used today, the first one was Penny for You Thoughts, and that is this one. And I do like it as a blush, which is very pretty. And the next one was the bronzer Caramel Cutie, which I did use to bronze up my cheeks. Now I do think that this bronzer is a bit gray on me. I think I can go up a shade darker, but because the next shade up is Cocoa Naughty and it is a very red shade, I think I'm going to exchange it and just see how I like it. And I'll probably do another follow-up video using Cocoa Naughty. And I do have another one of the Fenty Beauty foil Killawatt duos, which I have is Ginger Binge and Moscow Mule. And this is that one, which I have been loving quite a bit. And the other one that I have is the Diamond Veil, the one that came in this type of packaging. And this is what that Diamond Veil looks like. Now it is a little dirty, because that's one of the things I don't like about this Diamond Veil, is that once you dip your brush in and you put it on your face and you dip back in, it kind of stains the Diamond Veil. But I do enjoy it. It gives you more of a dewy glow, and it is, like some people have been complaining, that it is glittery, and I have no problem with glitter, so I don't mind it. And then with the newest Killawatt duo, the Mo Honey and Afternoon Snack, as you can see, it looks absolutely amazing. I love it. And hey guys, we almost have us a full face of Fenty products. We just need some brow products. And actually, I have not been highlighting my brow bone lately. I think I just been forgetting, and I don't remember until after I take my photos, and that's when I notice that I don't add to my brow bone. So I'm just going to go in with, since I use Mo Honey on my cheeks, I'm going to use Afternoon Snack on my brow bone. And of course it is amazing as well. And so there we have it. That is my full face of Fenty products. And as far as the eyeshadow palette by Islay Cosmetics, it is a very cute, inexpensive palette. I believe I paid $20 for it, including shipping, maybe $23. Now, the only thing that I will say about this palette is this pinky shade here, Bubbly. When I wet my brush and dipped back in, the shadow kind of hardened on me. And if you can see it there, that's what it did to the shadow. But hopefully I can use it again. Hopefully it doesn't damage the shadow. But all I used was Fix Plus. I just sprayed my brush with Fix Plus. So we have come to the end of the video. I haven't done a talk through in a long time, and I do apologize, but I have a family. I am a mom, I am a grandma, and it's a lot going on in my house. The baby's not here right now, but as you can hear from the background, somebody's getting a delivery. There's trucks outside. So I try to do videos when I am home alone and there isn't too much action going on in my home. But I hope that you can bear with me, and please send me all of your love and your support. And I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Also, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in that next video.